Guys, I can tell you honestly, Starkey Farmstead and Stephen and Samantha have doubled our income 2 years in a row. And I tell people that all the time. Think about what your income is, what you filed on your tax last year as your income. Now double that number. Do that next year. Double your income and then do it again the next year. It sounds impossible, doesn't it? It is not impossible. It is not. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So we're going to talk about a very important topic. It's called staying realistic. Why are so many people getting into homesteading and farmsteading and farming and then realizing, holy crap, I can't do this? The biggest thing I see, you guys, is people are unrealistic. So you have some land. What is the first thing 90% of homesteaders do when they get land? They fill it full of animals. Chocker block one end of the property to the other. Animals as far as you can see. As if animals equal food security. As if animals equal homesteading. And what they have literally done is introduced anywhere from 6 to 12 different species with different needs, with different housing needs, different feeding needs, different medical needs, different breeding techniques, all of that. Then comes the expense. Let me give you the best advice I can give you. Start small, stay in. You can have 100 acres, but you do not have to develop the whole 100 acres at once. Here at Starkey Farmstead, we have two. We have 2 acres, and what we have realized is that we can generate enough food on these 2 acres to feed 8 families, okay? Not including ourselves. So far, our maximum has been able to feed 8 families with fruits and vegetables, along with ourselves and along with our livestock. But that takes time. It takes planning. It takes setting clear and precise goals. The first thing my husband and I agreed to, we would not introduce so many different types of animals that we were overwhelmed. And this is the reason why. Feed costs are not going down, you guys. That, unfortunately, is the new reality. That is the new homesteading reality. Your feed costs are going to be your number one expense on top of fencing and housing for your animals. Now, depending on where you're located in the world and what your weather looks like in the winter and how long your winter goes through, feed cost and heating to keep your animals safe and warm through the winter are going to sink you. In other words, one or both of you are going to have to leave the farm or homestead to go out in the world, make money, and then come back and bring that money back to the homestead to keep it floating. So how can you change that? Well, the best advice that I can give you guys is this. Start small. Pick 1 or 2 types of livestock, and that's all you start with. And you keep them for a year. You breed them, you slaughter them, you package them, you cook them, you find people who will buy them. You learn to grow whatever cover crops you need to feed them. Learn to make their feed. Learn to grow your own hay. Figure out how to do it. Well, like I told you guys, Stephen and I have 2 acres. So I've actually had people come and tour my 2 acres. And they're like, Sam, you got a patch over there. You could put a pig. You could put a cow. You could put 8 goats. I could, but let me tell you what's going to happen. I can't grow enough feed on this property with that many animals taking up the land space. And the more animals, the heavier your parasitic load. So then you've got to look into worming them and caring for them. And then you have manure waste. Then you have fencing cost. Then you have to worry about housing and keeping them warm and feeding them through the winter. Now, I'm not telling you this because I want to dash your dreams or burst your bubble. I'm telling you this because if you'll follow these couple of steps, You can actually make your homestead profitable. And I see this all the time on Facebook. Homesteading is not profitable. It's not possible. You're wrong, my friend. It can be done debt-free. You can generate an income from it, but not if you build it all at once. First thing you need to do is pick a livestock animal that's going to fit your family's needs. Your needs for either clothing, food, or to be used in the garden for soil amendment. So you pick an animal that fits that need. An animal that you can breed and butcher and process and sell. An animal that you yourself can feed without buying a bunch of bagged feed. Now that's where we all start, but it is not where we should end up. Being a homesteader means that you are always looking to do one thing, and that is reduce inputs. So an input is something that you must barter for or purchase with your hard-earned cash money to bring onto your farm, homestead, or farmstead to meet a need. Your goal as a homesteader should be to be honest about the inputs that you're having to bring on your property. And then think of ways with what you already have in your hands to reduce and push back on those inputs by creating them yourself. Building a sustainable loop system where you create your own inputs, therefore using your own inputs to create outputs that you can either use to make more inputs or sell to make money to pay your hard bills, because they're not going to accept your rabbit meat or your tomatoes for your electric bill. Now, having said all that, I hope that you understand where I'm coming from. Start small. And I don't necessarily mean only 2 acres or only 200 acres. Start small with the livestock that you bring on to your property. Don't start all your projects at once. Our first year, it was rabbits and worms. Rabbits and worm castings. We built a business around that. We became known as the people in our community where you can get good rabbit meat from, organic rabbit meat, and where you can get good breeding rabbits from. Then we began to teach other people how to do what we did with our rabbits. So now people know us as the people where you can go to their property and learn how to butcher a rabbit humanely. The same with the worm castings. We began to sell worm castings and teach classes for people to learn how to build their own worm bins for their recycling purposes. We learned how to use that rabbit manure, rabbit urine, and rabbit blood in every way possible on our farm. And then we brought in chickens on the second year. And we did the same things with chickens and compost. The third year, we really began to work on making our own feed, our own pellets, and that is this year. Doing all the work and everything ourselves so that we did not have to take out debt to build our homesteading dream. So yes, in 3 years, we've done it, but we've done it debt-free, where we can make a profit, always looking to reduce the inputs we bring on our homestead. Every year, I tell myself, these are the skills you're going to learn this year, Sam. I'll write them down in December and January. I reevaluate myself in November and December. How did I do? Did I meet these goals? Where did I fall short? Why? Why did I fall short? Did I overload my mouth with my butt and my ideas? Was it just too many ideas this year? And after looking at everything honestly, I rate us. How did we do this year? Were we profitable or did we sink? But we were able to double our income because I was always looking at the inputs we were bringing in. And I was always looking at those inputs and finding ways to get rid of them, not increase them by adding more animals, pushing back against them. Now we're able to bring in enough income that I can buy more land with cash money, extending the size of our homestead. Then I will bring in more animals. really hope this helps you. Stay realistic. Stay goal-oriented. But you cannot build it overnight, you guys. Well, you could, but you're going to build it with a credit card and you're going to pay it off the rest of your life and you're going to die in debt and your children aren't going to be able to keep it. It's not what God meant when he said, a righteous man will leave an inheritance to his children's children. We as Americans and worldwide to be able to continue the lifestyle that we all dream of. Being producers and not consumers. Guys, the only way to actually do that is to be a producer. God bless you. If you've not done so, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what your goals are going to be, what your realistic goals are going to be for 2024, and we can work on them together. Welcome to our family, and thank you for rowing in our boat.